What's up, guys? It is the end of December 2024 and wanted to make this video for anyone watching my stuff and future Anthony, actually, because this was the first year that I stuck with my goals all year. Other than a few blips here and there, I stuck with my goals. My goals were to start a channel based around my art, and at the beginning of the year I started with one painting a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me it was. You know, it was, you know, one painting with a video edited and posted that month. That was my goal when I started, and I stuck with that for the most part. But really I wanted to make this video because if you saw the title, it's kind of a joke, but not really, because from the outside perspective people would ask, what do you do? You know, and usually people default to, what are you doing for money at that time, you know? And I don't like to look at it like that. I think I already am an artist. I'm just not getting paid for it yet. And the reason it meant so much for me to make a channel this year and follow through and actually put my stuff out there is because throughout the years I've always known I had these talents, these skills, this ability to be creative in cool ways that other people liked. Unfortunately, I grew up in a household that didn't nurture that, and that's okay. I'm finally learning that. And for anyone that doesn't know, before last year I spent probably 2 or 3 years taking care of my dad at the end of his life. He was and is still my main source of what I'm learning is called c-ptsd. And it's the reason that one a month was enough for me, because for me to do anything consistently throughout my life has been a struggle. And I really just wanted to make this video not only for future Ant, but anybody that's going through this. If anybody out there is feeling like, you know, you've got this skill, you've got this goal inside of you, and for whatever reason you just haven't been able to, I hope that this year coming up is your year to explore that. And I don't know what your life circumstances are. Mine, unfortunately, were a blind man who, after my parents got divorced, I basically became his caretaker, which I've also learned is called parentification. All these things. You know, people throw around narcissism. I don't know if that's fair to say because that's a diagnosis, but we can call them emotionally immature, which is EIP, emotionally immature parent or person. And I think it's healthy to explore, because I stuck to my goals. You know, I started a channel, and I'll be honest, I have more subscribers right now than I even thought I would at the end of the year. I had no crazy goals. I thought if I get a subscriber per video, that's honestly enough. And that was going to be, it was just the idea of getting my art out into the world and showing not only other people but myself what I'm capable of. And I think it's kind of funny because I've probably painted like 20 things in my life. I've never, like, if you've seen anything on my channel, you've seen, you know, the lips that I paint, and I have that portrait where I made a tutorial about hair. That portrait was the second portrait I've ever painted in my whole damn life. You know, I didn't go to school for this. In junior college or community college, I took a 2D art class. I think people would just look at me and think, okay, so you're almost 33 and you're not really doing anything. But it's like it's crazy to think that this is just what I should have been doing my whole life. But at every opportunity that, like as I was growing up, every time I had enough money set aside and I would ask my dad, hey, can you help me find an apartment? Like I've got enough for first, last, blah, blah, blah. I got a job. And he would literally say things like, why would I help you do that? And now that I'm older, I realize, because he basically had no friends. He was a hard dude. I love, rest in peace. For every good thing he taught me some how to not be a parent type shit too. But he would say shit like that, and I didn't realize at the time. It's like, yeah, of course. Think about it. Why would he have helped me? Because I was his only source of basically everything. I got the groceries, and I took him to the doctors. I did all the things. And then at the tail end of his life, that actually manifested in him going to a nursing home, and I actually ended up working. I took a job at that nursing home so I could then basically be there for him as much as I possibly could. I figured if I'm going to have a job, might as well work where he lives. But right now, everything in my life that I have is because of what I did for him. When that first started happening, and he, because I actually did end up moving out a couple times. It was just a slog, and it wasn't, that's life. It wasn't as simple as it could have been if I had adults helping me with things I didn't know. But I got it done, and I made it happen. But when I did move out and I was out more consistently, I would get a lot of calls talking about, hey, the dog got out. And mind you, I lived about 30 or 40 minutes away. So I'd have to, just little stuff like that. And that really became to where when I started coming home to visit him, and the pill box would be empty, and he wouldn't have any food, and he looked just disheveled and stuff like that. And I was like, hey man, this doesn't seem right. A couple months of that, and I moved back in with him. And this actually was right at the beginning of 2020, and it kind of worked perfectly because I'm like, okay, I didn't lose my job. I still worked at a restaurant, so we were considered essential. But I thought, hey, this isn't good. Every time I'm coming, and there was a lot of times I'd come to visit him, and he would be on the ground, and I'd be like, hey man, like how long you been on the ground? And sometimes he'd be like, well, what time is it? And I laugh about it now, but boy, was that shit was wild at the time. Before that happened, before he actually had to go to a home, I was telling myself, oh, hey, it's all good. I'll date when I'm 40. I'll live my life when I'm 40. Because the way that he found a way, now I'm realizing as I grow up, it was just, in my gut, I used to feel like, why does it feel like if I'm doing good, like that's bad? Because I was shamed and guilted, and I just wasn't able to go do anything. Like it's been a mental roller coaster. But I think the point of this video is I want to show now is the time. Now is the time to do the thing that you've been wanting to do. And I don't like to think about what ifs, because that can send you into a spiral. That can make you not feel super great. But I tell myself now, I'm doing it now. And I know if I had, a art show's worth of these lips paintings, or an art show's worth of these portraits that I paint, I know that that's going to be what helps propel and elevate me to the next level of what I consider my goals, to become an artist, I am an artist now, and I know the title of the video, it's kind of like clickbaity, but that's the thing, this is why I think it needs to be known and acknowledged that my experience keeps me from believing that it's worth doing these things consistently. I just don't want anybody to feel like they're going through the shit alone. You know, if you're watching my stuff, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. See you guys in the next one.